I've just been exploring around this lake here. It's not far away from where I live, and on this diet it's made me explore further afield than my local area to find different things. And as I was exploring here and having a look around, I came across this. Now this is some kind of mustard. It's probably an escaped oilseed rape, but it's growing wild, unhindered, and it's organic and not sprayed with anything, so it's good as any wild brassica that we can find. Now it might not be oilseed rape, there's a bunch of other things that could look similar to it, but there's so much over here. Look at all of this coming up, and these little heads here are so delicious. They almost taste exactly like they do taste exactly like tender stem broccoli. So what I'm probably going to do is harvest a load of this, because I want to turn some of it into sauerkraut, lacto-ferment it down, and hopefully it will mimic sauerkraut that we sometimes buy for probiotics, and it's really, really tasty. So what I'm doing is separating the tender stem shoots off of the rest of the rape brassica, and then I'll keep those for just enjoying as they are, because those are absolutely delicious. And then we're just going to cut it up into small fish pieces, which can then be salted. But because they got the stems and all, it makes the job a little bit easier for salting and packing down. We've chopped everything up, so now what we have to do is, similar to how we did with the lacto-fermented wild garlic, is that we've now got to add some salt. So if I just sprinkle that in there, I've got to sprinkle some other areas too. There's a lot in here, so let's just mix the salt up in there, and then we'll add the next batch and do the same again. And I've got a third batch. It's quite, I'm probably going to bash it down with a thing like I did before. The rape leaves, or whatever brassica this is all crushed down. You can really smell it. There's not that much liquid in there, but we'll see what happens when we press it out. Now what I'm going to do is to add just a little bit of lacto-fermented garlic, because it will just help to boost the lacto-fermentation start, and just give it a little helping hand, just to make sure that it ferments through properly. So that should be enough, just a little bit in there, and I'm just going to mix that up into there. Oh, it's going everywhere. This is all the rape brassica put into a jar, squashed down, and we used to use the plastic bag, which is a really neat trick. You put the plastic bag in, fill it with water, and it will submerge everything underneath the water so that it will ferment, and there's no greenery that's got access to air. So we're just going to leave this in this jar for about 2 weeks until it reaches a texture and a flavour that I will enjoy. The lacto-fermentation, it's our best friend when we're looking to preserve greens for a longer period of time, and I haven't really played with it as much as I had really wanted to in the past. So I'm probably going to get some more of these kilner jars and try with some other things, maybe some nettles, some stems of other plants and things like that, so that I have some things to munch on after all the young greenery has gone to flower and seed. What I've actually done here is I had the leftover venison broth and I reduced it down with some St. George's. I added some rape leaves and some nettles, and then I've added the wild garlic at the end. So hopefully the broth has reduced right down and the flavour has intensified, and this will be a delicious flavoursome stir fry. There we go, I've got my shoes soaked. That was gonna happen. Oh no. Lovely. Wet shoes and a stung bottom. What I was looking for were these. Now unfortunately that one is empty, and I was just trying to find them because they're freshwater mussels, and looking at them I was trying to see which ones they were, and they look like swan mussels, which means that they're very common and which means that I can have a go at eating them. So I'm going to have a little look further down and see if I can find some. I found another one, but it was in this water just here. Now the only thing is, it is also empty, so I'm wondering where they would actually be alive. Maybe they're right in the middle of the lake, and that's going to be very tricky to try and find. Yeah, but it would be amazing. Look at the sheer size of them. If I can find some of these, that would make very good eating. So I'll keep my fingers crossed and I'll keep looking for some. Right, so I've left these thistle roots sitting in some water just to soften the mud, and now they should clean straight up like this. So I'm just going to wipe down all the rest and prepare them for cooking. Just to go over this again. Oh, that's much better. We've got these roots all freshly cleaned. They do feel just a little bit woody, so it's strange because they were rosettes, and usually at rosette stage, so they might have been second year growth rosettes, because they have gotten just a little bit too woody. So whether we can do anything with this, we'll have to see. I'm thinking of just slow boiling them for a very long time and simmering until everything softens up. These thicker stems we are going to boil and see if I can do anything with them. I'll bring them to a boil and then simmer them for a while. This is kind of like my go-to for any of these roots that are too hard to process. I always just tend to dry them out. Once they're dry, I will pulverize them into some kind of flour, and usually works. I've got a blender that's powerful enough to just do that, so these won't go to waste. I will dry the rest of these out, and then we will see if there's anything I can do with them. So here's our thistle roots after giving them a boil and a slow simmer, and they turned perfect. They're still firm, but you can actually bite into it. So I've turned the oven on, and we're going to slip those into the oven in a little bit of tallow, and a little bit of honey maybe, or just even the blackberry vinegar. I might just drizzle them on just so they caramelise with the flavour. So this liquid came off of the boil after I siphoned it off, and it tastes actually really nice. It's almost like a burdock root flavour. So what I've actually done is added 3 tablespoons of honey to this mixture as it cooled down, and I've put it in a jar with a little bit of paper towel in top, and hopefully this will ferment a little bit and it will create an amazing, hopefully fizzy, I don't know, I don't think I have any bottles to trap the bubbles in, but it will end up in a very nice ferment. I'm getting very big on the ferment lately, aren't I? But I've added the honey, and there should be enough in there just to let it do its thing and turn into something delicious. Ouch. Hot, 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 hot. Hopefully this will go in without splashing. Oh, it is splashing a little bit. So we're going to cook these up a little bit like we would with the roast potatoes. So this is dinner. We have some fried St. George's with, in the juices from roasting the thistle root, and I fried that with some rape flower heads, and then I added some wild garlic at the end to preserve the flavour. And here we have our thistle roots. Some of them do feel a little bit tough, but I boiled them down and then I roasted them in some venison tallow, and then I added a little bit of blackberry vinegar just to give it some flavour. And this is going to be my supper for today. I've just bought, well, I bought them yesterday, they arrived quite quickly. These are some new barefoot shoes that I've been meaning to buy for quite some time. These are the Mawby by Freet, and they're quite a durable, breathable, I forget the material now, it's not leather, it's microfiber something, I believe. But so I've got these, and I must admit I've been a little bit slack on this for a while. I've been using Vans and I've been using wellies, and I slipped away from using barefoot shoes, mostly because the ones that I did have that were practical were starting to wear out and weren't very good anymore, and let water in and things like that. So I thought it's about time that I do something about this. But they're good. They're zero drop soles, which means that your foot feels everything underneath the ground and it stays level, rather than have the rising heel, which makes sure that you actually walk as your feet are meant to. It makes you use muscles in your feet that you don't normally use in traditional shoes. So that's all for this video. I think it's been a very busy few days. I didn't get the clams, I didn't get the freshwater mussels in the end. I had a little look when I was in the waders, but the water's so cold. I think the only way I'm going to get it is when the water warms up a bit and I can go in there and really get down and try and find it in all the silt. I did see a video on YouTube on how to find them, so we will see. I'll have a play with it at some point. But for now, that idea is on the back burner until the waters warm up a bit and I can do that. But yeah, I'm going to go and enjoy dinner now after these thistle roots. I think they came out okay. We're going to try them and enjoy them. Right, so I'm going to head back inside. It's going to start raining again soon. It's been quite a rainy April, which is good for growth, and that's probably why we've had such a flush of St. George's, because the year before I didn't find that many around here in the field, and now I'm seeing them pop up in places that I didn't know they existed. So I'm still feasting on those. I'm going to look for more patches so that I can keep eating St. George's while they're in season. Maybe if I can get enough, I'll dry them and turn more into flour for playing around with. But yeah, that's that for now, and I will catch you again soon.